for the hardest-hitting show in talk radio. The true progressive voice since 2012. This is Southpaws.
And welcome to Southpaws on the Pacifica Radio Network. We are the leaders of the revolution. I'm Darren Gibson.
And I'm Jack Prince.
Jack, it's nice of you to join me today. We've got to talk about, it's that time of year again. We're going to actually release this after the deadline is over and done with.
Oh, yeah.
But we got to talk about Medicare Advantage, or as we call it on this show, Medicare Disadvantage.
Yep.
You told me some stuff the other day that just blew my mind, and it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. So we'll talk about that. We got to talk about Moms for Liberty. One of its co-founders has been outed, and apparently her husband is might be facing some criminal charges as well. Plus, if we've got time today, Kevin McCarthy is resigning. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
This has been a great day. Kissinger dies. McCarthy's resigning. I mean, what other good news could be next for us?
Well, we did see Donald Trump assure us that on the very first day, if he's elected, he will be a dictator.
Absolutely.
Well, that's assuring.
That he said it too, folks. He said it word for word. First day, I will be a dictator.
No surprise. I think Hannity was trying to set him up to assuage people's fears that that's what he would do. But nobody's going to, push the orange monkey around. And so he stuck to his guns, came out and said, hey, no, I'll be a dictator on the first day. And I think the nation now is realizing what this election is all about. I don't want to hear any whining about Biden's age. I don't want to hear whining about Harris. This is a choice of the continuance of our country with democracy, and it's clear.
And if you're whining about Biden's age, you need to whine about Trump's age, because Trump ain't very far behind Biden. Sorry, right. That is truth.
Oh, yeah. And he's a candy butt. You look at him in his golf pants, it's a wonder he's walking around. And Biden is in good physical health. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Trump looks like he filled his diaper.
Yeah, he does.
Well, before we get too much further into our topics today, let me remind everybody that you can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/Southpaws Radio. You can follow the show on social media by going to facebook.com/Southpaws Radio Show. On X, the former Twitter, @Southpaws Radio. On Tumblr at southpawsradioshow.tumblr.com. On YouTube and Mastodon by doing a search for Southpaws Radio. You can listen to the show anytime at Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Podvine, and Pandora by doing a search for Southpaws. Once you found our logo, you found us. We send links to our weekly episodes to our Facebook, X, Tumblr, YouTube, and Mastodon accounts. You can listen to us on Global Community Radio Channel 1 every Saturday night at 11 Eastern, and you can listen to us on great Pacifica stations, including KCEI in Taos, New Mexico, KZGM in Kabul, Missouri, and WMTB St. Petersburg, Florida. So be sure to listen to us on your local Pacifica affiliate.
Exactly.
All right. I'm going to let you take the floor right now with Medicare Disadvantage. You sent me several articles, and each one is worse than the next.
Yeah. I think people are so caught up with the drama around the Trump election and the debate tonight and Ukraine. Obviously, these are huge issues, and Israel. But to me, the most impactful and insidious scam we as Americans, in dollars and cents, have ever been exposed to is happening right now. Go to your television and turn it on. You can see it. I'm not talking about the destruction in Palestine, in Gaza. I'm talking about the destruction to our social, federal, government, public health care called Medicare. It's a plan that was devised, carried out in 2003 by conservatives, whose main objective is to end anything public. We can't stress this enough. Superman was allergic to, what was that planet?
Kryptonite.
Kryptonite. Conservatives are absolutely sickened, weakened, and devastated by anything public. Until people realize that, they're going to scam you over and over again. This scam is devised to make people believe they still have Medicare. And what a crafty way to do it. Rename it the same thing.
Yeah.
How can you claim you're ending Medicare when this private company names itself Medicare? Medicare Advantage.
And it's multiple companies.
Yes, it is. It's kind of like, if you like ice cream, this is better than ice cream. This is hot fudge, or this is strawberry. This is ice cream improved. This is Medicare Advantage. And in fact, it's just the opposite. It's not Medicare, and it's not an Advantage, which is kind of our mantra on this show. How does it work? How does the ad see that's flooding into your living room? How does it all work? It's devised to be so completely obfuscated and confusing that people can't really put it together.
Yeah.
They can hear Thomas Hartman say, folks, it is a huge scam, and you can get caught having to face a network decision with a doctor you don't want. You can get your claim denied. You have to realize the taxpayers are paying billions of dollars to this private company out of the Medicare kitty or coffers. You can go on with the detriments of Medicare Advantage, but people still can't break free from the propaganda that they're being exposed to. They go, hey, this is a package deal. This gets me my dental. This gets me my vision. This gets me my drug. I don't have to go to A, B, C, D, E, and all that stuff. And I don't have to pay anything per month. What they don't know is that right now across the United States, many doctors and hospitals are refusing to even take Medicare Advantage. And I think that's indicative of one of the articles I sent you. Did you see that, Darren?
Yes, I've actually got that article pulled up. Can I read from that a little bit,
Absolutely.
Jack? Okay. This is from Oregon Live. This is dated December 3rd. This is in their business section. It's by Julie Appleby. A hospital system in Georgia, 2 medical groups in San Diego, another in Louisville, Kentucky, and nearly 1/3 of Nebraska hospitals. Across the country, healthcare providers are refusing to accept what's being called Medicare Advantage. And of course, an ad pops up for Medicare Advantage plan while I'm trying to read this article. Can you believe it?
That's fitting.
Yeah. Healthcare providers are refusing to accept some Medicare Advantage plans, even as the coverage offered by commercial insurers increasingly displaces the traditional government program for seniors and people with disabilities. As of this year, commercial insurers have enticed just over half of all Medicare beneficiaries. Now think about this. This is 31 million people that they have conned into signing up for their plans instead of traditional Medicare. Now, it's not just the people that are switching over, these 31 million. A lot of these people, Jack, you're one of them, my mother's one of them, were forced because they get their insurance from their provider.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In your case, the MEA switched over to Medicare Disadvantage. In my mother's case, the Carpenters Union. In 2021, no, I take that back, 2022, mid-2022, they switched over. They even paid the penalties for switching over mid-year.
Was she notified?
She was notified that this was coming.
We weren't even notified.
But we were told, oh, this is going to be so great. It's going to be the lump of ice cream on top of the apple pie. It's going to be the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about it. My mom had eye surgery that was scheduled prior to the switch. She had to reschedule. After the medical was switched from Part A, Part B, Part D to Medicare Disadvantage, her costs went up. She had to pay a copay when she walked in the door. She had to pay definitely big out-of-pocket expenses that weren't there with her traditional Part A and Part B insurance, because we were told what the cost was going to be. It was going to be zero. We were told zero. Then the insurance changed, and then the price started going up. Right now, every time my mom walks into a doctor's office, it's $30 when you walk in the door.
Yep.
With the eye coverage, we paid $30 to walk in the door. She still had to pay $57 at the end because of what Medicare Disadvantage didn't pay. When before, that was all covered. There was no copay. There was no fee of any kind. It was paid fully.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Medicare Advantage has a woman in a cubicle in some office somewhere that gets your mother's claims or gets the patient's claims, and she, not your mother, but this privately hired secretary makes decisions as to what they're going to pay and what they can weasel out of to make a profit.
The adjusters.
Yeah. Where Medicare, it goes to them. It's like a tennis ball. It comes right back at you, paid without question, without research, without hesitation. Now I'm at the age, conceivably, I may have to get an MRI. I may have to get a test that's rather expensive, a few $1,000s. I have to get on my knees and ask them if they'll pay for it. It's not automatic anymore. The differences are not subtle. The differences, as you and your mother have experienced, they're major.
Yeah.
They're excruciating. And nobody hears that. What we just said in the last 10 minutes, nobody is hearing any testimony like that.
No. And let me tell you something. Because I'm currently on Medicare and Medicaid, both, because of my mental illness.
Yep.
Four diagnosed mental illnesses, folks. So I get a call from Priority Health, which is who I have my Medicaid through. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to push me into this Medicare Disadvantage bullshit.
They all are. All of them.
Oh, you're going to get much more with this. No, I know better. I've already got what I want. I like what I have. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Because you know what I pay? I pay zero. Walk into the doctor, zero. Get treated, zero. Zero all across the board. And that's the way it should be for everybody. That is the way it should be for absolutely every single person in this country. If we were smart enough to have voted for Bernie Sanders, which many of us were, but there's too many idiots, including within the Democratic Party. Oh, he's a socialist. You folks don't even know what socialism is. Guess what Social Security is? It's a form of socialism.
Yeah, exactly. Guess what your Christmas dinner is going to be when you're all sitting around and you gave everybody the same present. You didn't give one little granddaughter a $500 present and your grandson a $15 present. You know, we live with the idea that socialism is not evil like we're told by the right, but socialism means that we hold everybody in the same high esteem, with the same treatment, the same amount of pumpkin pie, the same amount of insurance, the same amount of opportunity, the same amount of love, care, the same rights. That's socialism. I am sickened, going back to Medicare Advantage. You're talking about your mother's inability, or not inability, but forced increase of payment. In New York, hundreds of people had the same experience your mother did. I don't know if they were warned ahead of time. It really doesn't make any difference because there's not much they can do if they're even notified.
No, there's nothing you can do.
They went to the street. Now, we didn't see this on any so-called liberal media because I don't know if there is any, not on television.
Yeah?
They went to the streets. They broke into the government buildings. They insisted that they would not be put on Medicare Advantage. And for the most part, they failed.
Yeah.
But at least they were aware. They knew. And some of them were maybe possibly able to go to the original Medicare, and here's the magic equation, get a supplemental called Medigap or a G plan, and it's still possible. It's still feasible. Although tomorrow's the last day, you'd have to wait for another year. I wish we had gotten through this earlier, but I just found out about it weeks ago myself. But that is the most nauseating part, is that this isn't a democratic takeover. These private companies that pay their politicians handily quietly moved in and said, switch all your public workers. Switch them into Medicare Advantage. In Louisville, in New York City, in Chicago, in LA, in Grand Rapids, in Michigan, every single retired teacher was moved into Medicare Advantage without any notification. Every public firefighter was moved into the same plan.
Yeah.
But seriously, and I wish somebody could answer this, the state police in Michigan, they were notified. They were notified and given the option to drop out of the Blue Cross Blue Shield Medicare Advantage and get their own supplement to Medicare.
Yeah.
But we weren't. And now at my age, everybody that's a retired teacher has a great chance of having medical issues that will be rejected if they go and try and even buy a supplemental.
And let me just add one thing. With some supplemental plans, this Medicare Disadvantage, some of these disadvantage plans, you better not dare get sick out of your coverage area and get hospitalized, because it won't be covered. Not one penny of it.
That's right. You get bit by a rattlesnake out on the campground in Utah, don't go to the doctor there.
Yeah,
because
you'll pay all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me continue here. These plans typically include drug coverage as well as extras like vision and dental benefits. That's how they get you in the door, folks. Many at low or even zero additional monthly premiums compared with traditional Medicare. Let me tell you, my mom pays $224 every single month out of her pension check for Medicare Disadvantage. $224 every single month.
Wow.
And has to pay additional $30 co-pays every time she walks in the door to her doctor's office, to the eye doctor, to the heart doctor. $30 up front every single time. Where's the advantage? Tell me. Please tell me. Let me continue here. But even as enrollment soars, so too is friction between insurers and the doctors and hospitals they pay to care for beneficiaries. Increasingly, according to experts who watch insurance markets, hospital and medical groups are bristling at payment rates Medicare Advantage plans impose and at what they say are onerous requirements for pre-approval to deliver care and too many after-the-fact denials of claims. The insurers say they're just trying to control costs and avoid inappropriate care. Bullshit. They're lying when they say that. They're trying to get more money into the pockets of their shareholders.
That's one of their lies.
Yep. The disputes are drawing more attention now during the annual enrollment period for Medicare, which runs until December 7th. As we've mentioned, we're going to be a little late on this one. Stuck in the middle are patients, people whose preferred doctors or hospitals refuse their coverage and may have to switch Medicare Advantage plans or revert to traditional program, although it can be difficult or even impossible when switching back to obtain what is called a Medigap policy, which covers some of the traditional plan's cost-sharing requirements. For example, more than 30,000 San Diego area residents are looking for new doctors after two large medical groups affiliated with Scripps Health said they would no longer contract with Medicare Advantage insurers.
Yeah, how'd you like that? How would you like to be a patient at Spectrum and find out that the doctor that just saved your life will not take your Medicare Advantage plan?
Yeah. Well, unless you have Priority Health's Medicare Advantage, because Priority Health and Spectrum are the same company.
Okay. Yeah.
They're exactly the same company, same people in charge.
But the doctors that we're reading about in that article and the hospitals, out of the blue, they suddenly say we're not going to honor Medicare Advantage cards. Do you understand, ladies and gentlemen who are listening, the trend? The trend, where would you move the marker in the future with the dependability of covering claims with Medicare Advantage? When you hear doctors who will not even take that, where do you think the trend will lead? Where do you think once Mr. Gibson, Darren, you have been a service to the people, but here's a question: is as much help as Darren has been, he's quoted that over half of Medicare people, that's people after 60 years, half of them have been pushed into, converted into Medicare Advantage. Half of them.
Yeah.
Do you think Medicare will last? Do you think Medicare will last when there's nobody in Medicare?
No, it won't.
No, and that's the original plan. Then once they're in the driver's seat and they've got you locked into a completely corporate insurance, they'll tell you what they'll pay. They'll tell you what doctor to see. You'll have no choice. You'll have to argue. You'll have to, like I said, get down on your knees and plead to get this test or that test. You want a hip replacement? Right now, Medicare Advantage is telling people, hey, just go to rehab. You don't need a new hip. You want a knee replacement? You don't need a new knee. We're not going to pay for that. You need to go to the gym and do some deep squats. That's what you need to do. And I'm not exaggerating about that. I know people who have run into that very problem. They're not covering those things. And again, extrapolate, please, where you think Medicare Advantage is going to be 5 years from now. Do you think there'll still be people even with the chance of being on original Medicare? No, it's designed to kill Medicare. Medicare Advantage was made, remember George Bush, said unequivocally, my greatest regret is that I did not privatize Social Security.
Which George Bush? The senior or the junior?
Little Bush.
Oh,
Junior.
the little Bush, yeah.
Yeah.
W.
Yep. That was his main objective. In conservative circles, he would have been a hero, and he knows it.
Oh, yeah.
They do not want anything public, not a public library, not your mail. They want nothing to be public. And anytime they can kill a total public entity, like the U.S. Army, like the post office, they are held in high regard. Mm-hmm. That means that they have privatized this service, and they're going to get all that money. How much money? How much money does private Medicare Advantage make? They're given billions by Medicare. By your mother's tax dollars, it goes to Washington, and Medicare has to pay Medicare Advantage before there's any service rendered. They pay the money into Medicare Advantage. Medicare Advantage, if they do pay a claim, that's the money they use. So they go, well, hell, if we restrict the amount of money we pay out, we keep the money. They've already been paid for the services.
Yeah.
They're already there. And what do they do? They go back and say, well, Darren Gibson, no, his back or whatever, it's worse now this year. So we need more money. This patient, they're in a more severe situation. We need more money.
Yeah,
it's estimated that they overcharge like 20 to 30% of what if they were just running by themselves. If Medicare was just running by itself, it would save the taxpayers 20 to 30% over them just doing their own payments.
Yeah, and that was the thing you were telling me last night, is now these insurance companies that run Medicare Disadvantage, they want to come into your home so they can examine everything. Make sure that you're okay. Oh, are you having any issues with falling? No, I'm not having any issues. Okay, so then they go back to Medicare and say, well, Mrs. Gibson, she's been having falling issues. That's going to cost us more money. We need more money to cover her. They lie to Medicare.
You never hear about it.
It's just,
what's the biggest financial scam you can possibly remember historically? We're talking about needless costs by taxpayers upwards to $14 to $15 billion. Do you know what you could do with that kind of money?
Let me ask you this question, Jack. You think it'll be bigger once this all explodes? Because it's going to. At some point, the system is untenable at this point. When it finally explodes and becomes a big scandal, you think it's going to be bigger than savings and loan in the 80s?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just the sheer total amount of money is staggering.
Yeah.
Absolutely staggering. We listened to all the bull crap about inflation and the Democrats, and then we've got the Biden financial plan. You could save our very economic life, United States, if you knocked Medicare Advantage in the head and just went strictly with Medicare. You would save billions of dollars that could go into infrastructure, could go into paying IRS agents, could help the homeless building homes, could give college scholarships to, instead of having a debt to knock kids in the head with, just add those benefits alone. Think what that kind of money could do. It could do all of those things. It literally could pay for all those services we just talked about. But the politicians get all of their honey from these insurance companies. Just like with a farmer, we don't have to pay $700 for Eliquis a month. It could be $100, like it is in Canada. But all the politicians, they get their cut. It's that bad, and it's on both sides of the aisle. It's that corrupt. I've never seen an economic corruption plan that even comes close to this. I mean that. There was a scandal you're talking about, the home loan, but that pales. That's small compared to what's happening right now. And it didn't just start. This is going on year after year after year since 2003.
Yeah. Chip Kahn, president and CEO of the Federation of American Hospitals, which represents the for-profit hospital sector, said, quote, "The insurance companies running the Medicare Advantage plans are pushing physicians and hospitals to the edge," end of quote. The insurance industry's lobbying arm, AHIP, said in a February letter to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, this is CMS, they're the ones that control Medicare, that prior approvals and other similar reviews protect patients by reducing what they call, quote, "inappropriate care by catching unsafe or low-value care or care not consistent with the latest clinical evidence," end of quote. AHIP spokesperson David Allen said in an email that Medicare Advantage plans are growing in enrollment because people like them, citing surveys conducted by an AHIP-backed coalition. Here's the problem. Do these people know what they have? No, they don't. They've been roped into this. They think they're getting all these different little perks for switching over, and they're paying more money.
And the big axe is going to fall on them.
Yeah.
That's the big medical cost that's inevitable that's down the road.
Like I said, just wait till they're out of town and they have a medical emergency and they find out that they don't have any coverage whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I'm going to skip down a little bit here. The disputes so far don't appear to center on any particular insurer, region, or medical provider, although both United Healthcare and Humana, the two largest Medicare Advantage insurers, are among those that have had contracts canceled. Baptist Health in Louisville, Kentucky, sent in a statement that all 9 of its hospitals, along with its clinics and physician groups, would cut ties with Advantage plans offered by United Healthcare and WellCare Health Plans, Inc., beginning in January, unless they reach an agreement.
That should send a shudder down every person who has watched the ad and jumped on and signed up. That alone, that what you just read, which is not being just solely there in the Baptist hospitals, but it's sprouting up around the nation.
Yep.
That's the future.
Yep, there's more. I'll get to those in just a minute here. Baptist Health said in its statement, quote, "Many Medicare Advantage plans routinely deny or delay approval or payment for medical care recommended by a patient's physician," end of quote. The system's medical group with nearly 1,500 physicians and other providers left Humana's network in September. In a similar move, Brunswick, Georgia-based Southeast Georgia Health System, which includes 2 hospitals, 2 nursing homes, and a physician network, warned this fall that it would end its contract with Centene Corporation's WellCare Medicare Advantage plans in December, citing what it said was years of, quote, "inappropriate payment of claims and unreasonable denials," end of quote. So again, you got somebody in a cubicle 500 miles away looking at your claim saying, nope, nope, nope.
Who knows if she gets one more bonus check for cutting claims, she can send Sally, her daughter, to college.
Yeah.
Because that's her motivation. She knows every dollar that she saves for her company by not paying a claim, she gets a cut.
Yeah. In some cases, health systems' threats to abandon Advantage plans as well as insurers' threats not to include providers in their networks are negotiating tactics intended as leverage to win concessions on payment rates or other issues. Some have been resolved. Ohio's Adena Regional Medical Center, for example, said in September that it would drop Medicare Advantage plans offered by Elevance Health, formerly known as Anthem Incorporated, but reinstated them following additional negotiations. Still, some hospital and policy experts say the conflicts may be the beginning of a trend.
Hey, where did I hear that? Trend.
Yeah, because
It's coming.
it's coming. Yeah, we're already starting to see it, and it's only going to get worse. Yeah.
Yep.
David Lipschutz, Associate Director and Senior Policy Attorney at the Center for Medicare Advocacy, who said that hospitals and doctors are becoming much more vocal about their frustration with some cost control efforts by Medicare Advantage insurers, said, quote, this seems different, end of quote. Don Berwick, President Emeritus and Senior Fellow at the Institute of Healthcare Improvement and a former CMS administrator, said, quote, there have been serious problems with payment suspensions and reviews that annoy the providers. I would not be surprised if we start to see more of this pushback, end of quote.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what's going to happen?
It's inevitable.
It's not just this trend of delaying payment and denying payment. There's also consolidation within the industry, better known as mergers and acquisitions.
Mm-hmm. You got it.
So as it becomes more concentrated, you're going to see more of these issues coming up.
Ladies and gentlemen, what have you noticed about the corporate personality? What gives you any confidence? All you really need to know is that Medicare Advantage is a private insurance company. They've taken the real name off and put a bogus name on. How do you think you'll be treated by a for-profit insurance company? Do you think the trend, you think the future will be that they are more magnanimous with their claim payment? That they'll take the networks down and let you go up to any doctor's office for service? Do you think that's where they're going to go? Do you think the profit motive within this health insurance industry is going to be any different than any other money-grubbing profit corporate structure? Why would it be? And you're the one that's going to lose. They will win. They're already winning to the tune of billions of dollars, and we're just on the edge of the public losing tremendously.
Yeah. Newsweek even published an article that was written by a representative of Congress that's against this. Let me read this here. This is dated November 15th, 2022. This is an opinion piece. It's written by Representative Jan Schakowsky out of Illinois and Wendell Potter, who I believe used to be involved in the insurance industry in some form or fashion. Let me look here. He's the president of the Center for Health and Democracy. He's a former vice president at Cigna, which is one of the big players.
Yep.
Here's what they said. Where billions of dollars flow, deceptive actors follow. Let that sink in for a minute. Where billions of dollars flow, deceptive actors follow.
You got it.
And nowhere does deception run deeper than how health insurers lure seniors into Medicare Advantage plans only to leave many retirees struggle to cover their out-of-pocket requirements when their incomes are their lowest.
That's canon.
You know?
That's scripture. That's the truth.
Yeah. You know, I don't even need to read the rest of the article. I mean, that right there sums it all up.
Yeah. But nobody's saying that.
No. The only people in Congress that really talk about this on a regular basis is, guess who? Bernie Sanders. That's it.
Exactly. It's not on the Rachel Maddow show. No. It's not on the Joe Scarborough show. It's not on CNN. It's not on MSNBC. It's nowhere. It's nowhere. No. And it's fleecing the most vulnerable people in our society.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, you're one of them. I'm one of them. My mom's one of them. My oldest
right.
brother's one of them.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
we pay attention most of our life. We're not that easy to bamboozle.
No, I don't know what's going on with my middle brother, but he just retired from the Postal Service.
Mm-hmm.
So, his wife just retired from Kent District Library. What's going to happen to their insurance?
You need help. It gets you when you need help.
Yeah.
You're not working. You can't do anything about it. And you have this big bill, and there goes your house. There goes your apartment. There goes whatever, your savings.
Yeah.
Pay the bill. And then they put leverage on you. Don't pay the bill, you can't get any health service, so you can die.
Mm-hmm.
It's gruesome.
Yeah, my mom swears up and down the reason that they want to come into your house, not only besides to scam Medicare and Medicaid, is these insurance companies want your house. They want your property.
Yeah. Well, it's like the other great scam out there that sells.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not trying to take your house
Oh,
away. That's
reverse mortgages. Yeah.
No, it's not. That's exactly what it's doing.
Yep. Yep. Reverse mortgages. The second biggest scam besides Medicare Disadvantage, folks.
Yeah. See, these business graduates out of Yale and Harvard, these guys, when they come out, they're smart people. And they devise the most crafty way to melt down the middle class wealth and put it in their pocket. That's their aim in life.
Yeah. Jack, you sent me another article from Common Dreams. Straight up fraud is the headline. Data confirms private insurers use Medicare Advantage to steal billions. And that's what they've been doing, is stealing billions and billions of dollars for 20 years now.
Yeah, billions of dollars, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking, like I said, I can't think now. I know the military budget. I know we've gone into wars that we really didn't need to go into. But people understood what was going on. They understood that we were paying Pentagon lots of money, and they were giving it to private contractors like Halliburton, and they were going to make a profit. Okay, we got that. But this, nobody thinks, they can't see it. They don't see how much money is going into their hands. I was on a hire a coach committee at Alma College, and the biggest donator to the school flew into Alma's airport with his own jet. I'm not going to tell you his name or his company. I had no idea how he made all his millions. He's bought libraries. He's done. Guess what he is? He started the health insurance company in the middle of America, and today he has the biggest one. And he's magnanimous with his money. He gives athletes a whole wrestling centers, and he's bought all kinds of things for the school. He makes his millions, if not billions, off of private health insurance. It's the greatest and most lucrative scam going. And Darren, this show, I encourage you to translate this into a meeting with some retired or about to retire teachers that I'm trying to set up at a bar/restaurant here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And here's why. I'm 75, but I don't see anybody warning these people. Other than Darren Gibson on this show, I don't see any media doing it, and Tom Hartman. I will say that.
Yep, Tom Hartman.
There's no voice going out. I applaud what you're doing, and I'm going to say, hey, come and have a beer with us, and we'll get as many people in the room. They go home, they tell somebody, because that's the only way it's going to get out.
Let me ask you this. Has Democracy Now! Covered any of this?
I have not seen Amy's show in some time. I haven't heard of it. When I go through and check on the computer, I don't see a heading for it. I don't see any warnings about Medicare Advantage. I see nothing. I cornered not Jerry. What's Peter's first name?
Gary Peters.
I'm sorry. I cornered him this last weekend at a banquet.
U.S. Senator for Michigan, Gary Peters.
Yeah. I almost said, hey, don't open your mouth anymore. The punch is going to spill out on the floor. Oh, seriously, what I'm telling him is, he's like, what? And I gave him a personal example, like what you shared with your mother. And I said, I spent 30 years teaching. I was told I would have the Cadillac of health insurance. The truth is, I was switched without any notice into Medicare Advantage, which is a private insurance company, and my claims are going to be denied. And he goes, what? Oh, we got to look into this. Now, he said that. I don't know.
Yeah, I need to have a chat with Senator Peterson as well. Gary Peters, by the way, has been the most prolific guest on this show. He's been on more times than anybody.
Hey, give him a call. Seriously.
Yeah. I've got his number. I can call him.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
The call you're doing right now, listen, this can save lives. This can save, this isn't the hyperbole. This can save not just the financial life of people. I'm talking about being denied treatment. This message can save lives.
Yeah. Let me get into a little bit in this Common Dreams article. This is Kenny Stansel writing. This is dated October 9th of 2022. He sums it up pretty bluntly here. Insurance giants are exploiting Medicare Advantage, a corporate managed program that threatens to result in the complete privatization of traditional Medicare to capture billions of dollars in extra profits. That's according to Saturday reporting by the New York Times back in October.
I've heard of that. It's a little newspaper in New York. Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah. The newspaper's analysis of dozens of lawsuits, inspector general reports, and watchdog investigations found that overbilling by Medicare Advantage providers is so pervasive it exceeds the budgets of entire federal agencies, prompting journalist Ryan Cooper to call the program, quote, a straight-up fraud scheme, end of quote.
Yeah. How big it is, the magnitude of it. It's staggering.
Yeah. It's unreal. I told you about this one. I'll tell my audience here. I'm working in commercial radio, and I do a morning show one day a week in the local Grand Rapids area. I had on as a guest an insurance broker out of Greenville that deals with these Medicare Advantage plans and traditional Medicare as well.
Yep.
And he was telling me about something new that Aetna is starting this year with their Medicare Disadvantage plan. You ready for this one, Jack?
I'm sitting down.
Depending on what type of activity you do, you can get reimbursed for expenses for your physical activity. This is what they're going to sell to people. If you are into gardening, Aetna, the insurance company, you file a claim with them through Medicare Disadvantage, they'll pay for your seeds, they'll pay for your gardening gloves, your gardening tools, anything that's done to keep you active, they will pay for. Jack, you're a big golfer. You love golf, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Jack, if you had Aetna with Medicare Disadvantage, and you had this particular plan that they're coming out with, Jack, they would pay for your golf balls, a new set of clubs, a new bag, new golf shoes with the cleats, everything.
I think they even wash my balls one day. I've heard that.
They might do that as well. Who knows? Running, if you're a runner, new tennis shoes, a new sweatsuit. Heck, if you wanted an Apple Watch to kind of monitor, I'm sure they'd pay for that too.
Sure. Of course.
Why wouldn't they?
People, can you smell a rat when you see advertisements that they're going to give you a card that you can spend at Target and Walmart, and you can pay your taxes and put in a roof on your house? It's worth $3,900. Just call this number. Do you really think that's indicative of the corporate structure you've come to know in this country? Do you think that may tip you off that they're getting something out of this of huge proportions if they can offer these kinds of scams?
It's a big rotting rat, and it's starting to rot right at the asshole and work its way right up through the rest of the body right to the head.
It is. That's a good analogy.
Because that's how they rot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I mean, really.
Oh, my God.
My girlfriend, I'm not going to mention her name here, she has become aware of this and how dastardly it is. She goes, this makes me so mad. I have to go and put some mindless Gilligan's Island on or something to get my mind off it.
Yeah.
It can wake you up in the middle of the night in anger. I'm not exaggerating. And if you were losing a loved one because of this, which is altogether a possibility, you tell me how egregious it would be.
Yeah. Oh, I know. By the way, this insurance broker that I interviewed on my commercial radio show last week, he had some really good advice for anybody that's getting ready to retire, and that is file for Medicare 4 months before you retire, at least 4 months out.
Yes.
If not even longer than that, 6 months out.
Sure.
Because it takes that long for Medicare to get approved. And guess what happens? If you file the day you retire, you're without medical coverage for at least 4 months. Sure, you can probably get COBRA through your work, but COBRA is super expensive.
That's kind of info we could bring to this gathering I'm proposing.
Yes, I think we need to have that gathering.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I've already talked to, I don't know if I should say that over the air here.
Yeah.
And they give us a whole room, 30, 40 people. We can do it.
Yep. And I'm sure we can find other venues.
Yep. So there's no guarantee, folks. For the insurance agents out there that want to go to undermine us, we may not be there. I wouldn't put it past them.
Well, like I said, this guy, if you want to switch back to plain Medicare, he will do it for you. He will do his best to switch it back.
I ran into a broker in Kansas that's doing the same thing. Luckily.
Yep. So if anybody contacts me and wants the name of that broker, I will provide that to them. You can always reach out to me. southpawsradio@gmail.com is the address for the show. So if you want to do that, reach out to me as soon as you can.
It could mean your life. It could mean you being homeless someday. I'm not exaggerating.
It would.
Yeah.
All right. I know we have more that we want to cover here. Well, let's get to Bridget Ziegler, the co-founder of Moms for Liberty. And you shared this Facebook post with me about what she is and what she's done. Apparently, she helped Governor Ron DeSantis write the Don't Say Gay law down in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And
read the article if you've got that, because it's really succinct.
Yeah, I don't have the article, but it's been published everywhere, including the Orlando Sentinel, I believe, is written about it. I'm sure the Sarasota newspaper has written about it as well. If you Google her name, this is no exaggeration, Darren. There's video of her with just the most hateful, just dripping with hate speeches against gay children and so forth. Yeah.
Which you know what kind of issue it is in Florida. And then she turns around and does a stunt, which, Darren, why don't you tell them what went on there?
Yeah. Once again, this is the woman who helped Governor DeSantis write the Don't Say Gay law. She has now admitted to Sarasota police that she had consensual sex with another woman during a three-way with her husband. Her husband is Christian Ziegler, who is the Florida Republican Party chair.
There you go, touchdown.
Now, why is this going to the police? It is because the third woman in this three-way has accused Christian Ziegler of raping her.
Yeah. Hey, our ex-president was found guilty in a court. The judge looked at him and said, "You are a rapist."
Yeah.
And the Republican...
And that by the way, let's specify that was in civil court, not criminal court.
I know.
We need to because he has not been found guilty in a court of law for criminal charges.
Exactly. But a civil case is based on evidence, right?
Yep.
And testimony. And in that civil court, they found him to be a rapist.
Yep.
That we need to title that accurately. I agree 100%. And then we have on and on cases of religious diddling with boys.
The worst is in the Republican Party. They're the biggest hypocrites and liars that they are.
But this chick, this Ziegler, it didn't mean much to me until I saw her hate-filled speech against the gay children in Florida. It's dripping with venom. It's incredible. And then she turns around and pulls a stunt like this. If there was feather and tar and black tar, you could not get a better place to use it. But she will not probably even lose her position as co-founder of this hate-filled group called Mothers for Liberty. She'll probably be...
No, probably not.
No.
No, I can't see that happening. I can't see them holding anybody responsible. Hell, the Republicans didn't want to hold George Santos responsible.
I know.
I mean, this is a guy that is a pathological liar, probably as bad or worse than Trump.
Yeah.
He's lied about everything. He's in financial scandals left and right. You know,
Used campaign money for Botox.
Yeah.
Used campaign money to fill up his apartment with expensive furniture. I mean, it couldn't be any worse.
Yeah, took fundraising money from a donor of his because the guy needed a replacement dog or something. The guy had a service dog, and took that money allegedly.
The Republicans, they got all kinds of dirt on Biden. What is that dirt? They have one check, a check that's not designated from where it came from, that he gave to his son. Isn't that crazy to give your son a check? That's all they have.
Oh, my God. So, yeah, there have been calls for Ziegler to resign from the Sarasota County School Board, as well as calls for her husband to resign from the Florida Republican Party chair position. Of course, they're going to stick to their guns. They're kind of like Ottawa County, but just much more sinister. God, I haven't used that in a while.
What a zoo, Florida. I mean, it's just incredible down there.
Yeah, it's starting to make Ottawa County look sane.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to more Ottawa County stuff next week. McCarthy, what's this? McCarthy's resigning. I thought he wasn't going to. I'm not going to leave office.
Well, is that 2 empty seats now, or am I not hearing it correctly?
Oh, I believe there's more empty seats than 2. Yeah, let me get to this. This is Michael Blood writing for the Associated Press, dated December 6th. By the way, we are recording this show on Wednesday, December 6th, 2023. 2 months after his historic ouster as House Speaker, Republican Representative Kevin McCarthy of California announced Wednesday that he is resigning from his congressional seat and he will leave by the end of this year. His announcement capped a stunning end for the one-time deli counter owner from Bakersfield, who ascended through state and national politics to become second in line to the presidency before a contingent of hard-right conservatives engineered his removal in October. So he used to sling deli meat, hey? Yeah, I need a Reuben over here. Wonder if he's going to go back to that. It'd be a fitting end for him, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it?
Oh, my God.
Look prestigious.
Yeah. Oh, brother. So, yeah, looks like the 58-year-old McCarthy is going bye-bye. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you there, Kevin. Oh, my God.
He's promised, though, he's going to go out and recruit good people.
Oh, you mean like what Ottawa Impact has done over in Ottawa County? They had a commissioner give up their seat for quote-unquote personal family reasons. No, I don't think so. I think there's something else going on.
There always is with these people. It's amazing.
So they had 11 people apply for the vacant commissioner seat, and the current commissioners accepted 5 of the applications, each one of them just worse than the next one. People that are, we need to put God back in government and God back in schools, and
Yeah, well, how about the Speaker of the House?
Tar and feathering those people is a waste of tar and feather. I'd rather boil them in oil and sell their fat for soap.
Yeah, right. We have a crystal fascist as Speaker of the House now, who said yesterday he was going to blur all of the film that has the recordings of the insurrection, all their faces, so that they don't get prosecuted. That's indicative of
Wow. Yeah, you know what I'd do if I was the FBI? The first thing I'd do is I'd say, you're interfering with a government investigation. You're under arrest. They can play that game. I'm sorry. It's time to play the game.
It is, and Trump thinks that the Justice Department is prosecuting him for political reasons, a witch hunt. Look at, he never mentions the charges. It's just a witch hunt.
No, 91 charges across 4 different cases.
Yeah, that's just political attack. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You know what? We're headed for rough water. There's white water ahead, man. Rough water.
Yes, it is.
They're funding, I don't even know how the vote came out today if they're going to fund Ukraine. But the dictators around the world are sending love letters back and forth. Putin's drooling at the mouth, thinking that the funding will stop from the United States thanks to the conservative input. The conservatives are demanding that if you don't want the government to collapse economically, to stop funding for Ukraine. That's their tactic. It's a bleak, dark future I'm looking at as a citizen of planet Earth. Forget the United States.
Yeah.
Just the potential of these guys getting together, the world they envision, the world they see is beyond anything Orwell wrote.
And Trump is one of them.
He sure is.
So you folks that are wanting to vote for Trump, you better think. You better watch the tape. You better think. Use whatever that lump is 2 feet above your ass, to quote the movie League of Their Own.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that some of them, they want a dictator. You say that, hey, do you want a dictator? Is that what you want? Yeah, they think that's the way to run things.
Yeah.
That's the way they run their household.
Yeah.
That's the way they run their business.
Yeah.
They understand that. They think that's the most efficient way to rule, is by power, by threat, by murder.
It's sad. I want to, Jack, can we end the show on this note? We need to mention that Norman Lear passed away.
Yeah, very sorry about that. What a talented man. Gave us so much.
For those of you who don't recognize the name, Norman Lear is the writer, director, and producer among the shows that he created: All in the Family, The Jeffersons, and Maude. By the way, one of my all-time favorite atheists, because he started People for the American Way, which is a group that I highly recommend donating to.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Separation of church and state was one of Norman Lear's big things that he championed.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
Yep.
Yeah. We lose him and Rosalind Carter the week before.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Hey, we got a joke? Anything funny we can leave with a laugh? I'm out of breath.
I wish. Let me read this. Rob Reiner, who's another big liberal, wrote this about Norman Lear. He said, I love Norman Lear with all my heart. He was my second father, sending my love to Lynn and the whole Lear family. Well, Jack, my blood pressure's up. I should probably go and get some more blood pressure medicine put in me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right, that's going to wrap things up for this week, folks. We'll be back next week if we're not in jail. I'm Darren Gibson.
I'm Jack Prince.
Please support independent media, the First Amendment, and a woman's right to choose.
You bet.
The stations that carry Southpaws do not necessarily share the opinions expressed on the show. Southpaws is protected by the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution and is copyrighted by Big D Entertainment. All rights reserved.